Hey everyone, I'm April Wagner and I am so excited you all are here. Thanks for coming on and thanks for you that got on early because I know Zoom can be tricky at times. But we got an exciting night tonight. Let some more in, lots more in. We've got an exciting night tonight. I'm actually going to go ahead and introduce Dr. Dekel. And he has been a long time friend. I don't want to say how long because none of us are that old.
Of course not.
But he's just an amazing man. He's a holistic doctor, but he's so much more than that. He's a dad, he's a pilot, and just really a wonderful, wonderful person. And he is actually going to be our host tonight. So Dr. Dekel, if you'd like to go and just invite your friends and family and thank them all for being here and whatever you want to say, and then I'll take it back.
Of course. Thank you, April. Again, I would like to welcome everybody. Thank you for attending. I'd like to call this is really an international Zoom because we have guests from US, from Canada, from Mexico. So again, thank you for taking the time to support the relaunch of my business in LifeVantage, but more importantly, to actually the launch and to thank Maria Santoro and her supporter for joining and supporting her launch of her business. So for those of you who don't know me, I've been an active practicing physician for over 40 years, 20 of them as a surgeon, OBGYN, and last 20 years as a holistic doctor. So about 3 years ago, I was introduced to this line of product. And quite frankly, as you know, April, I was not looking for a product. I have about 80 to 100 products at work. But I got intrigued when I was told, oh, before you say no, why don't you check it out on PubMed? PubMed is a publication of the NIH for conventional peer-reviewed studies on pharmaceuticals. So I said, what does it have to do with PubMed? Well, we have 23 studies. I got intrigued, started to research it, and I found out that the activation, mostly the NRF2, which I'm going to talk about, actually reduced oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. That's nothing like this in my practice. So I started to use it myself for my own benefits, and it became part of my protocol for my patients and getting great results. So I think that you're going to be pleasantly surprised and a little bit of educated about the forefront of really holistic support and how we can actually prevent and help us maintain good health and stay away from trouble and disease. So without further ado, April, you got the microphone.
Oh, thank you. And thanks again for hosting tonight and inviting everyone. And we're just so excited. This is an amazing discovery. And I have to tell you, this is an industry that my husband and I have been in now for 28 years. We were with another company for 25 years before we even found out about this discovery. It's that amazing. And you know, having been in the industry for 25 years, literally made millions in the industry, had worked with so many doctors at that point. It's kind of crazy that we came across this, but I'm going to talk to you about what is now known as activation. And so we're going to spend a little time, and I promise you do not have to be, the mouse is not working. Oh, got it. Okay. Okay. I'm just still letting people in. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is activation versus supplementation. And if you're not familiar with supplementation, supplementation is probably the multivitamin that you may be taking already, vitamin C, D, whatever direct antioxidants you may take. But we're going to talk about activation tonight. And I promise you do not need to be a doctor to understand this, but it's got a really, really cool story. You know, our company is LifeVantage. And when they were in a lab many, many years ago, the cardiologist that actually created this product said, is declining health something that we must accept as part of getting old? And so this goes back to the 1960s. And what he realized back then was that we have, or our body at a gene level can make antioxidants. And this was really cool. The only thing is, by age 24 for men and age 22 for women, we stopped producing all these antioxidants that really kept us healthy. And so he went back to the lab for many years. A few decades later, and I do mean a few decades later, he discovered that we can actually activate these genes to produce those antioxidants. And this becomes huge. And there's a lot of science behind this. but we'll make it super easy for you. This was such an exciting discovery that he was awarded the Elliott Carson Award. If you're familiar with that, that's something that the Wright brothers, Henry Ford, Alexander Graham Bell, I mean, huge, just discoveries. But this is a discovery that concerns all of us, because who wants to get old? Nobody wants to get old. And it always hits home to me because, Bobby has a grandmother. I had a grandmother that when we were first married passed away, and she always passed away in a way that to me has left a huge impression, because she sat down in a chair at that point, and she had labeled everything in the house, who was going to get it, and just kind of crossed her arms, and she passed. And there was no known disease to that. And I thought, well, that is the most peaceful way I've ever seen anybody pass, as opposed to my grandmother, who we took care of for many years, in nursing homes. And then finally, life deteriorated so much so that, feeding tubes and just no quality of life. And so, there's statistics out there. And what we talk a lot about is health span. And so we know now that the average lifespan, and this is an average, could be less or more, is 78 years old. That's here in the United States. Health span, which we talk about, is the number of years that you have in good health, is 66. So the difference between that is 12 years. So that means we have 12 years of what they call not good health, declining health, and really needing, drugs and aids just to have any quality of life. So, we're going to talk more about flipping what we call the switch or activation. And again, we're going to deal with this. First one is the pathway of the NRF2 activation. And really what it does is it means that we can have control over our genes. So it is now known that 80% of our genes are in our control, our good genes, and our bad genes is only down to 20%. So we can control a lot of what we do by flipping the switch, using activation, by diet and exercise. And so we want to turn on that switch. So the first theory of aging that we're going to talk about is oxidative stress. And Dr. Dekel alluded to this a little bit in the beginning, but what causes oxidative stress? Because we do know that oxidative stress now is really the precursor for all disease and aging out there. And so simply breathing, eating, talking causes oxidative stress. Exercise, our environment, pesticides, technology, all of this stuff causes a lot of extra stress. And so after a while, you can see the cell with oxidative stress really isn't looking so good. So they came out with this product called Protandim NRF2 Synergizer. And so this is the first theory of aging we're going to talk about. But just like Dr. Dekel said, we reduce that oxidative stress. We reduce disease and aging by 40% in the first 30 days. And aging across the board, disease across the board. Protandim activates your body to create 1 million times per second the antioxidant value. This is huge, because our bodies are creating so many more free radicals than we could actually take in with direct antioxidants. It increases something called glutathione, which is our master antioxidant. Now, glutathione is something that people go to medical spas to get IVs, get injections, really hard to absorb to the body. We actually increase that by 300%. And because this science is just so exciting, and I'm going to show you some of the medical studies that were done on it, but it's so exciting. Everybody is chasing this formulation, whether it be the large pharmaceutical companies or the nutraceutical companies. So our company was really smart, and the doctor that actually started this all, by actually having 13 patents that actually prevent the duplication of this or prevent it from our formula. And it really is a formula. It's really a recipe is what I call it, because you look at some of the ingredients below. Green tea you're familiar with, turmeric you're probably familiar with, maybe you're familiar with some of the others. Maybe you're even taking 3 or 4. I know Bobby and I were taking 3 of the 5 before we even knew about Protandim, because we knew that to be good for us to, again, help reduce oxidative stress and decrease aging. But he put this together, this formulation together, so that we actually get 1,800% better results using his group of herbs and plants there together. So 1,800%. Individually, you don't really get any results. If you were to be the mad scientist and go out and put 5, and I don't know why you'd want to do that, because it's one tablet. We call it one little yellow pill that we take, that we get this 1800% better results from it. And so a lot of times people say, well, I eat a really clean diet, I eat a good diet, but they don't realize how many free radicals our bodies create. So many free radicals that in order to get the benefits that we get from the Protandim, you would have to eat 11 pounds of blueberries, 375 oranges, 120 vitamin C, and 87 glasses of wine, red wine, every day. I mean, that couldn't be done. So obviously this is a good choice. And what's even more exciting about it is for every month that you are on Protandim, you reduce a whole decade of oxidative stress. So much so that you can see over time, if I took the blood of an 80-year-old that had been on the product for 8 months, a 60-year-old that had been on it for 6 months, a 40-year-old that had been on it for 4 months, and a 20-year-old, I could not tell who truly had the blood of a 20-year-old. So we all say we want the blood of a 20-year-old. Would you all agree with that? Gets me super excited. That's one of the things that I don't have any medical background, but when we're talking about the blood of a 20-year-old, that's what I'm getting super excited about. So here's the proof in it. There's a site that anybody can go to called pubmed.gov, it's G-O-V, and really typically doctors and scientists and people that want to know about pharmaceutical drugs go there, maybe the interactions, the cautions, the warnings, that type of thing. Well, PubMed.gov has some 230,000 studies on oxidative stress. And so you could literally go there as a layperson and put in oxidative stress and whatever kind of disease you want. You could go a step further. We have at least 26 peer-reviewed studies on that site that, again, you could literally type in Protandim. So really exciting. These are all independent studies because, again, this discovery is that fascinating. It's that huge that Harvard and Colorado State and Florida University all did, Washington State University, all did studies, independent studies with their own money, their own dime, because they were like, this is really cool. This is very exciting. And they wanted to study it in one way or another for themselves. Washington State University was so excited by this discovery. It said the health effects of NRF2, which is that pathway that we're using to reduce oxidative stress, may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and the most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. In the history of medicine, liking it to penicillin or stem cells or the aspirin. Huge discoveries again. Okay. So exciting is this that not only does our company have the NRF2 pathway on the inside, but we also use it on the outside. And so whether it be the skin care, the hair care, Axio for brain food, our products are on the Think Dirty app. If you're not familiar with that, download the Think Dirty app, put whatever you're using now in that app on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst. You'll see most of ours is about a 2 or a 1. Some of it's a 0, some of it's 3, but you'll be surprised at what you're using and how dirty that is really. So cool products, very results oriented there. But the second theory of aging is the mitochondria. And this is really the energy at a cellular level. If you remember ATP maybe from biology, we need this. 95% of this energy comes from this mitochondria at a cellular level. Any given cell has, well, the brain or the health has about 4,000 mitochondria per cell. So we need lots and lots of this stuff. But what happens is over time, and they say by the time we reach middle age, we've already decreased half of this. And so that's why they say after age 40, it's all downhill at that point, because we've gotten rid of so much of this mitochondria that our body really needs to have energy, have vitality, and repair itself. So they came out with Tandem NRF1 Synergizer. And what this does, again, all natural ingredients, it increases the amount of ATP to slow down the aging process. It improves sleep and cellular repair. It supports the cardiovascular and brain health and improves cellular health. So you can see we're boosting mitochondria for energy at a cellular level. And again, just so great for not only repairing cells, but also preventing aging. The third in our pathway is NAD. And what NAD does, and this is really a powerhouse, This one does so much. People just love, it could be sleep, it could be mental focus, it could be exercise endurance, it could be exercise recovery, it could be cholesterol, it could be weight loss, it could be libido, lots and lots of results from this. And this is one of the very few nutritional products out there that is so good for you, but you actually feel it. It's a protein at a cellular level that when we increase, you actually feel the results from this, and you know that you've taken something good for you. For you know, the last few decades, people out there have really gone on severe calorie restriction. You know, somebody like me, a woman, maybe it would be 400 or 600 calories a day, just to let you realize for a long period of time how they may get some activation of this sirtuin, which is that protein at a cellular level. There's some other products out there. Again, they've played around, they get a little bit activation. Now, this is a really cool thing. We get 100% activation within the first 24 hours. And again, that's why you really feel this product, and you're gonna love the way you feel on it. What's super cool is they put the 3 of these together. We now call this a Synergizer. So it's got the 3 pathways of aging. But upon studying it, another cool thing happened. They realized that we got 2,100% better results with those 3 products than if we took 1 or 2, or, you know, just decided which of the 3 were best for us. So all 3 together, 2,100% better results. And again, this is improving sleep, vitality, energy, better memory, focus, concentration, hair, skin, and nails, have the blood of a 20-year-old. I mean, if you want your it factor back, you want to turn that clock back, these are the products you want to be using. But this leads us to how cool our company is, and this continues on the story. So I'm going to invite my husband back, and he's going to share more of this story because it is a really cool story. So 1 minute, please.
Hey, good evening, everybody. And, you know, I don't know about you, but, you know, every time I hear the story, you know, every time I hear what these products do, and I've been personally using them now for, you know, for 3 years, I just get more and more excited because it's the best kept secret in the world. See, nobody knows about this. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about LifeVantage as a company in a moment, but keep this in mind, okay? You know, Dr. Dekel, who's hosting tonight, you know, he was a traditional physician. You know, he delivered babies. He was an OBGYN for 20 years. He's a leading authority now in holistic anti-aging medicine for the last 20 years. Okay, and when we met him, and we've known him for over 20 years, but when we met him a few years ago in Hilton Head, we live in Florida now, but we all grew up together in New York. And when we went to visit him and we told him about this activation, keep in mind, this was a doctor that had 37 years experience, 17 years with holistic anti-aging, you know, studies and practice in patients, and he hadn't heard of this. So what you're learning about now, if you haven't heard about it before, don't feel guilty about it, okay? It's a well-kept secret, but if you're interested, if something like that caught your attention, hey, leave us a note in the chat box, okay, below. Just you know, just say interested, or I have questions or something like that in the chat box, and we'll make sure that, you know, we get your questions answered. But as far as the company goes, LifeVantage, it's amazing because back in 2003, we were a biotech company, a biomedical company, and we had this product, this NRF2 that April talked about, and believe it or not, it was sitting on the shelves. It was a little blue bottle, and it was sitting on shelves in vitamin stores like GNC around the country, not selling. Okay, and you say, why wasn't it selling? Well, it wasn't selling because the sales folks had no clue what activation was or how it worked or what it would do. So it just sat there until 2005. ABC Primetime, and we've all seen this, ABC TV is famous for this, ABC Primetime did an investigative report, and generally when they do that, it's to cover something negative, you know, it's to do a gotcha kind of thing, or identify a scam or something like that, okay? And they sent John Kiyunis, okay, their investigative reporter, into the LifeVantage office and had his blood taken. And here was the whole thing. They were going to prove that oxidative stress, that reduction that Dr. Dekel mentioned and April mentioned, of 40% in 30 days with taking this little yellow pill that we've been talking about, he was going to prove that that didn't happen, that that just wasn't true. So he gave his blood, they did a test, he started using the product, and he didn't wait 30 days to come back and get rechecked. He only waited 2 weeks, and he came back and he had his blood rechecked. And guess what? His oxidative stress had been reduced by 45% in just 2 weeks. And you know what happened? Their investigative report that was supposed to be a gotcha ended up becoming a commercial for our product and our company. And we ended up being listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange, which we're there today under LFVN. And we changed the business model from selling on a store shelf where nobody understood it and nobody could explain it to a direct sales model in 2009. So we've been using a direct sales approach for 11 years now. But this is a new industry that you probably had not heard of before, and it's called Nutrigenomics. And Nutrigenomics is kind of sounds like the name. It's just the way food and nutrients interact with our genes. Okay, and April hit upon that when she was talking a moment ago. So that industry itself is going to be a $17 billion industry over the next 3 years. And LifeVantage is already a leader in the science of the industry. We did 232 million in sales last year around the globe. And we're targeted and slated to be $1 billion company over the next 3 to 5 years. So it's an exciting place. It's an exciting company. They're an innovator. They're staying ahead of the pharmaceutical industry with stuff like this. And, you know, Erin Brockovich joined our board last year. We had an opportunity to ring the closing bell on the NASDAQ last year for Wellness Week. So the company's starting to pick up momentum. But you know what I like about it? I'm an entrepreneur, okay? I'm a business person. And I was in this industry already for 25 years when I found out about this, okay? And one of the things I liked most about it as a business person is that we were a global company and we were doing business in 22 countries. And what I liked being, you know, growing up in New York, living in Florida now, so obviously doing business in the United States, I liked that, you know, Mexico and Canada were also open for business, and 22 other countries in Europe and the Caribbean and Australia, New Zealand, you know, Japan, a lot of other countries. But you know what? We have a goal as a company to go into over 100 countries over the next 5 years. And I can tell you the next new one is the Philippines in a couple months. We're not open yet, but we're getting ready to open it. So it's very exciting, you know. Now, some of the benefits of a business like this, and you know, I would be remiss not to mention that after dealing with this pandemic, and obviously it's still going on, but a lot of us are looking now at the light at the end of the tunnel due to what we've learned this past year in vaccines and things like that, okay? But look at the benefits of a business like this. You can work from home. How many people do you think have really learned to appreciate being able to work from home or work from anywhere other than having to go to a place of work, okay? And the reason for that is we're a social sharing kind of business. We share the benefits and we use an app on our phone. So the entire business can be done from an app on your phone or a Zoom. You know, like tonight, the entire business can be run that way. We have a virtual office to run the business, very little startup cost, no inventory requirements. The company's like an Amazon company, it just drops, ships to all of its customers, so we don't have to inventory anything. You know, and we have our own online store. And get this, the online store that we have is in and operational in all 22 countries that we're open in. So, you know, I was talking to Maria Santoro earlier today, and I know she has some guests on here, but, you know, she's currently living in Canada. Okay, and we're just going over, you know, doing business in Canada and the United States, among other places today. So, you know, it's really neat that you can work from your home or from your phone and do business anywhere in the world. It's a pretty neat thing. Now, what are the earning possibilities? And I got to be honest with you, this was a very critical part of me and April making a decision to affiliate ourselves with this company. This was really important to us because we had been with another company for 25 years. And honestly, it closed unexpectedly, but we had learned how to earn millions of dollars in that business. So we were looking for the next, you know, and there's a lot of companies, but we were looking for the next big one, okay? The next one that was going to be special, the next one that was going to be a legacy kind of company. And that's what we found here. And what I'd like to point out to you is this number right here, this $626 a month. You'll see it right here in the middle, my arrow is. What that number represents is the average Pro 3 distributor in this company is earning an average of $600 a month. Now, I know that may not mean a whole lot to you, but I wanted to tell you what the national average was when they took a survey and asked people, if you could just earn an extra blank, okay, how, you know, what number would that be that would make your life more comfortable? Okay, and you know that number was between $500 and $1,000 a month, would make a lot of people's lives more comfortable. Do you realize a Pro 3 business, the average one is earning over $600–700 a month? That means they have about 50 customers using this product that April was talking about. And I mean their team, not just them as an individual, has about 50 people using it. Do you realize that if you had about 200 people using it, you could be a Pro 5? That's a person making an extra $3,000 or $4,000 a month, okay? And I'm talking about a network of people that have about 200 customers combined. Now, a lot of folks get in this business as a side gig or a second income. And, you know, because of the pandemic, everybody's looking for multiple streams of income now. Nobody wants all their eggs in one basket anymore. Well, a Pro 7 in this business earns an average of about $13,000 a month. These are month, okay, per month. And April and I have been here now for 3 years, and we're Pro 8s in the business. So this is the average earnings of a Pro 8. So the reason I bring that up is I had an opportunity to meet a dozen different Pro 10s. Now, we're 11 years old, okay? So we were 8 years old when I met these folks, and they were all earning over $1 million a year. And forget the $1 million a year for a second. What it told me was what a strong company this was, being publicly traded, having 13 patents around the world, having 32 studies on PubMed, and we were a legacy company. In other words, we were a company that was going to be around for decades and decades, that would be willable and transferable, and we'd be able to like pass it on to our children and grandchildren. And, you know, we always talk about a 3 to 5 year business plan, okay? Now, is it a good business? Okay, hey, you know, you may be an entrepreneur in here tonight, and, you know, is this a good business opportunity? Here's what I'd like you to keep in mind. Whether you are intrigued or not yourself, I would love if you would consider keeping it in mind that we all know a lot of people now that were affected with the pandemic, that their incomes were, you know, maybe changed, maybe they lost some, maybe it's not what it used to be. So there's a lot of folks out there looking for that second or third source of income. But here's how you tell if it's a good business. So the product's unique. Well, they are, okay? They're patented. We have no competition with it, okay? Our market is global. It's the whole world. Everybody gets benefits from these products. They're extremely affordable, very, very affordable, okay? They're backed by reputable science. And what I love about it is they're consumable, and they get shipped on what we call a subscription model. They just go out every month on an auto ship or a subscription. It's very easy to change. It's very easy to cancel, but a person on a subscription saves about 20% and gets free shipping. So the price gets even lower. And then the other question we always got to ask is, you know, can I do this? Is this something I can do? And I always say, this is the kind of business that you do in the nooks and crannies of your day. You don't need to set hours aside. If you get and make text messages, if you receive and send text messages, you can do this business because the bulk of it is done from an app on our phone in those in-between times of your day. And we have a very simple system. It's called our ITT system, where we invite, like tonight, somebody invited you, okay? We share a tool. We either do a Zoom or we send a video for someone to watch. And then we have a team that helps us answer questions. It's a very simple system. And plus we have all the regular meetings and trainings and trips and cash incentives, all of that's included too. But here's what I'd like to close with, okay? We are very, very appreciative of the support that you're showing the person who invited you, okay? 30 minutes is a lot of time. We appreciate it and we never take it for granted. And if you're wondering how you can be supportive of the person who invited you, well, one of the things is, you know, you can activate your own health and be a customer, you know, give the product a shot. You'll love it. Our average customer stays on this product for years, where most companies that have a subscription program, customers stay on for 2 months. Okay, ours stay on for years. The products are fabulous. No fees to join. You know, like I said, it's a reduced price and it's free shipping. If the company side of things got your attention and you know somebody, or you might personally be interested in adding another stream of income, well, we'd love to talk to you about it, okay? It's a great legacy business. And I love sharing the opportunity with people that can change lives, okay? But we would greatly appreciate it if you would at least consider being a referral source. And when you come across someone that could benefit from these products or the business, that you'd consider referring them to the person who invited you. And all you got to do to find out more, to get the product, the business, or just get questions answered is just speak to the person who gave you, you know, an invitation to join us tonight. And I want to close with this, okay? And then we're going to go back to full screen so we can see all our little pictures all over the screen. I want to thank you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, from myself and my wife, April. We're very grateful that you gave us your time, you know, and attention tonight for 30 minutes. We're very appreciative. So if you're ready to get results with the products, hey, that's awesome. If you're ready to join us and take the company around the country and around the world, that's awesome. But even if you have questions, you can always drop the question in the chat or just write question in the chat and someone will get back to you and make sure they answer it, okay? But let me go back, because we got to do a virtual hug here before we leave. Let me go to the full screen and bring back the audience. So where are we? Stop the share. And there we go. Moshe, I see you there. How are you? Hey,
how you doing?
Hey, Maria. Dr. Dekel, we had a lot of folks on here tonight. Truly international. I saw Mexico, Canada, United States. I'm excited. Tomorrow I got to do Europe, you know, with a Zoom. They're expecting 100 people on tomorrow. But would you like to say something before we close things up?
Yes, I would like to say thank you to you and April. And I'd like to vouch for the last T of the ITT, which is team. Because again, I'm a full-time medicine. And I couldn't achieve what I've achieved in this company and otherwise without your support. So for those of you who are guests tonight, again, thank you all. And I can tell you one thing, Bob and April are going to support team. If you need to speak to your doctor, give me a call, I can help too. But as far as the regular day-to-day answers, they're absolutely on top of it. So again, I would like to thank all of you for taking the time to support Maria and I. Thank you.
Thank you. And Maria, thank you. We're looking forward to our newest addition to the team. We're very excited and anxious to open Canada with you. We're very anxious to do that. So anyway, before we leave, we got to do a virtual hug, folks. So will everybody do a nice big virtual hug? Go ahead, go for it. Hugs, hugs. whatever you want to do, okay? But it's funny. It's taken a little while for me to get used to this Zoom thing. You know, I'd rather do a hug in person, really, to be honest with you. But the situation is what it is, and you know, as we all get, you know, everybody gets better and healthier, and they get a better grip on things. We'll get more back to normal. But please just reach back out to whoever invited you. You'll get your questions answered. And with that, we're officially done tonight. And thanks again for joining us. I appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great night.